Picture this. Emma is feeling a bit under the weather. She takes her usual dose of painkillers and later that evening joins friends for a few drinks. Soon she feels a little dizzy. Her speech slurs more than she expects, and she becomes forgetful about parts of the night. The next morning she wakes up with not just a hangover, but nausea that's far worse than usual, and her stomach feels like it's on fire. What went wrong? Emma didn't realize that mixing that seemingly harmless pill with a little alcohol could trigger unpredictable, and in some cases life-threatening, reactions. In this video, we're going to journey through the hidden world of alcohol and medication interactions. We'll explore how they can amplify, distort, or completely derail each other's effects, what the latest research tells us, and most importantly, how you can stay safe. To understand why this happens, let's quickly revisit how both substances work in our bodies. Think of it like a four-step process: absorption, distribution, metabolism, and excretion. Both drugs and alcohol are processed by similar systems, especially our liver. The liver is like a busy factory with specialized workers called enzymes that break everything down. One of the most important enzyme families is called cytochrome P450. Now, many medications, like painkillers, sedatives, and antidepressants, also work directly on our brain, our central nervous system, to alter our mood, alertness, or even our breathing. Alcohol does the exact same thing. It's a central nervous system depressant. So, when you mix them, they're not just coexisting. They are competing for the same factory workers in the liver and are often pushing the same buttons in the brain. This means mixing them isn't just double bad. It can create unpredictable results, making one substance stronger, weaker, or creating entirely new dangers. Let's break down the three main ways they interact. First, we have what are called pharmacokinetic interactions. This is all about how alcohol changes the levels of medication in your body. Alcohol can either slow down or speed up the liver enzymes that break down a drug. For example, let's talk about acetaminophen, the active ingredient in many common painkillers. Normally, our liver handles it just fine. But in heavy drinkers, a specific enzyme, CYP2E1, is more active. When they take acetaminophen, this overactive enzyme can produce more of a toxic byproduct called NAPQI, which can seriously damage the liver. On the flip side, some drugs can slow down how your body breaks down alcohol, making you feel intoxicated faster and for longer. The second type of interaction is pharmacodynamic. This happens when alcohol and a medication have overlapping effects on the body, especially the brain. If you take a sedative, an opioid, or a benzodiazepine, all of which depress the central nervous system, and then drink alcohol, their effects can become additive or even synergistic. Synergistic means the combined effect is much stronger than just 1 + 1. It's like 1 + 1 = 5. This is incredibly dangerous and can severely impact your breathing, consciousness, coordination, and even your heart rhythm. For instance, mixing alcohol with benzodiazepines can lead to significant memory loss, a much higher risk of falls, and dangerously slow breathing. The third way they interact is by creating new side effects or making a drug less effective. Sometimes the combination triggers problems that neither substance would cause on its own. For example, mixing the blood-thinner warfarin with alcohol dramatically increases your risk of bleeding. Certain antibiotics, like metronidazole, can cause what's known as a disulfiram-like reaction when mixed with alcohol. This means you could experience flushing, intense nausea, and a rapid heartbeat, making you feel incredibly sick. It's a powerful and unpleasant reminder that these two don't mix. So which medications are the riskiest to combine with alcohol? Let's highlight a few high-risk categories. First up, sedatives and benzodiazepines, drugs often prescribed for anxiety or sleep. This is one of the most dangerous combinations. It intensifies sedation, can cause memory blackouts, and severely depresses your breathing, raising the risk of an overdose. Next, opioids and other strong painkillers. Both alcohol and opioids slow your breathing. When taken together, they can cause your respiratory system to slow down so much that it leads to a coma or even death, even at doses that would normally be considered safe. But it's not just prescription drugs. Over-the-counter medications can be risky too. NSAIDs like ibuprofen and naproxen, when mixed with alcohol, can increase your risk of gastrointestinal bleeding and stomach ulcers. And as we mentioned, combining heavy alcohol use with acetaminophen is a recipe for potential liver damage. What about antidepressants and other psychotropic drugs? Alcohol can worsen side effects like drowsiness and dizziness, and it can interfere with the medication's therapeutic effects, making it less effective at treating your condition. Certain older antidepressants, known as MAO inhibitors, can cause a dangerous spike in blood pressure if you drink specific types of wine or beer. And finally, let's look at cardiovascular drugs. If you're on a blood thinner like warfarin, alcohol can amplify its effects, leading to a serious bleeding risk. Some blood pressure medications, when mixed with alcohol, can cause your blood pressure to drop too low, leading to dizziness and fainting. Even common antibiotics can be a problem. Besides the disulfiram-like reaction we talked about, some can become more toxic to the liver when alcohol is in your system. The list is long, which is why it's so important to be informed. Now, you might be wondering why the same drink can affect people so differently when they're on medication. Why does one person feel fine while another gets dangerously intoxicated? A big reason is individual metabolism. We all have genetic variations in our liver enzymes, meaning we break down alcohol and drugs at different speeds. Age and overall health also play a huge role. Older adults and people with pre-existing liver conditions are much more vulnerable to these interactions. The timing and dose matter too. If the peak concentration of the drug in your blood overlaps with the peak from your drink, the interaction can be much more severe. And if you're taking multiple medications, the risk of a harmful interaction with alcohol skyrockets. This is why even a small drink can have outsized and dangerous consequences. The science on this is clear and sobering. A major review of studies confirmed that alcohol interacts with a wide range of medications, reinforcing that these risks are very real. According to the National Institute on Alcohol Abuse and Alcoholism, alcohol is a factor in about 1 in 5 overdose deaths involving benzodiazepines and in nearly a quarter of all opioid-related deaths. Research also consistently shows that older adults are especially at risk, both because their bodies process substances differently and because they are more likely to be taking multiple medications. In clinical settings, it's a huge concern. Many patients being treated for alcohol use disorder are also on prescribed medications, creating a complex and high-risk situation for severe interactions. Let's go back to Emma's story. That painkiller she took? It was a common one, but it still has a mild effect on the central nervous system. When she had those drinks, the effects overlapped. Her brain's activity was suppressed more than she realized, leading to impaired breathing and cognitive control. That's why she had memory gaps and felt so unwell the next day. It wasn't just a bad hangover. It was her body reacting to a dangerous chemical combination. Stories like hers are far from rare. Many people think, oh, a couple of drinks won't hurt. But when an interaction triggers sedation, suppresses your breathing, or creates toxicity, the damage can build up quietly and sometimes catastrophically. So what's the take-home message here? First, there is no one-size-fits-all safe rule. Even a small amount of alcohol can be dangerous depending on the medicine, the dose, and you as an individual. The most important thing you can do is always check with your doctor or pharmacist before drinking any alcohol while on medication, prescription or over-the-counter. And please, read the labels and warning stickers on your prescriptions. If it says, avoid alcohol, take it seriously. It's not just a suggestion. If you ever feel unusually drowsy, confused, have trouble breathing, or notice any other strange symptoms after drinking while on medication, seek medical help immediately. These are red flags for a serious interaction. Here are a few practical tips. While some people try to space out their medication and drinks, this doesn't guarantee safety, as both can stay in your system for hours. For many medications, the safest bet is simply to avoid alcohol entirely while you're taking them. It's also a good idea to keep a list of your medications in your wallet. If you're out with friends, let someone you trust know that you're on medication and might react differently to alcohol. And if you are ever in doubt, just skip the drink. Your health is worth more than any single glass. Mixing alcohol and medications is like driving on a foggy night. You might think you can see the road ahead, but serious dangers can be hidden just out of sight. The warm, pleasant feeling of a drink could be masking a storm brewing inside your body. Be courageous enough to ask the tough questions. Ask your doctor, arm yourself with knowledge and take active steps to protect your health. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this information helpful, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more content that helps you stay safe and informed.